Hey, good morning. Welcome to worship at the sanctuary this morning. I'm Mike Robertson, pastor of the sanctuary, and I'm happy that you've decided to come join us this morning. Good to see everybody in the chat room interacting. Looks like we got a couple of Mainers in the room. Candy and Dave, I'm glad y'all made it safely up there. We miss you already, but I know this is where your heart is, so I'm blessed that you continue to worship with us here. Even on YouTube, and we know we will see you again soon. Everybody else, it's a beautiful day in Austin, Texas. Wow, bright and sunny outside, cool, but not too cold. Very pretty day. I only have one thing I want to remind you about this morning, and that is immediately following the message this morning, we will have our quarterly church conference, and that'll be on Zoom. You should have received the link in the email that had the link for this broadcast. And so when I'm done with the message this morning, it'll take me about 3 minutes to switch over to the Zoom room. And so when we finish here, please dig up your email and find the link and join us for a short business meeting. It shouldn't last but a few minutes, but we want to bring you up to date on what's happening with the sanctuary and all its different projects. There's actually a lot going on, considering we're not able to meet here in person, but we'll fill you in on all that stuff at our conference meeting right after this service. So please come over and join us. We won't keep you very long. All right, with no further ado then, let me get right into the message. This message is about one of the most pervasive cliches of our time. We hear it all the time. We say it all the time. It's right up there with, you can't judge a book by its cover, and, oh, this is going to be easy to fix. Things like that. We've all heard it countless times. We've said it ourselves as though it was an original thought that had just occurred to us. But I'm talking about a statement that involves this. Now, you may think this is just an ordinary cardboard box, but it's not. This is a special box. This is the box that you are supposed to think outside of. Think outside the box. How many times have you heard that or said that? We toss it out like it's a free t-shirt at a sporting event that we fire into the stands at board meetings and brainstorming sessions. It's said by teachers and trainers and politicians. We're constantly told that what is outside the box is innovative and fresh, and we'll find success and meaning and creative fulfillment and the adulation of our peers when we escape our corrugated cocoon. But as Ira Gershwin once said, it ain't necessarily so. We're told so often that the correct way to think is outside the box that we don't think about whether the opposite might be true also. But boxes are useful things. I like boxes. I save a good box. I hang on to it, and lots of times I don't find a use for it, but I keep them anyway because I like a box. Gifts come in boxes. We save precious possessions in our boxes. Chances are very good that when you leave this world, you're going to be in a box of one kind or another. Boxes are part of who we are and what we do. They are important. And yet we are told so often, if you really want to succeed, you need to think outside the box. But you know, when we were kids, a box didn't have any negative connotations. In fact, a box was about the best toy you could get at any price. A box of new refrigerator came in or a washer came in. You give that to a kid and you have given them a fortune, because that box could become anything. It could become a spaceship. It could become an airplane. It could become a race car. It could even be a castle or a tunnel or a submarine. There was no limit to what a box could be. Back then, we loved being inside the box. So what changed? What changed? Well, many of us lost the imagination that we had as children. It gets kind of squashed out of us as we grow up sometimes. We lost the ability to dream and to pretend and to shape the world the way we wanted it to be. And the box instead became a prison to us. And we bought into this fantasy formula that says outside box equals good, inside box equals bad. But hold on. Let's look around for a second. What if you imagine yourself actually inside a box, a big cardboard box? Look around you. What do you see? Well, there's 4 blank walls. There's a blank ceiling, a blank floor. It's boring, right? The child in you knows better, though. The child in you sees 6 blank canvases ready to be covered with something amazing. Some of your amazing artwork ready to be customized to make that box a comfortable and fulfilling place for you to be. I remember when Lisa and I built our house outside of Dripping Springs after we had just been married a couple of years. We moved into this new place and we began shuffling furniture around and filling the cabinets and the closets with stuff. But after several months, we realized there was still kind of a cold and sterile feel to the house. And I finally figured out why. The inside of our house was boring. The home builder had just painted everything white. All our walls were white. We hadn't gotten around to hanging up any pictures. So it was just stark, blank, white walls. It was like living in a deserted museum. And we decided we need to change that. We began to paint. We bought bright colors. We painted some rooms deep blues or deep maroons, and it began to enliven the house. We began to hang pictures on the wall. And in fact, in our living room, we actually painted a mural over one whole wall. We painted an Art Deco skyline, complete with a Zeppelin and a movie theater and a skyscraper that had our name on top of it. And that mural is still there 25 years later. It's one of the things that makes our house uniquely ours. Wouldn't change that for anything. Our box was not boring anymore. It was interesting. Each room had a personality, a theme, a feeling. We spent over 2 decades in those colorful rooms, and it truly felt like a home because we weren't just living in a plain box anymore. We saw those blank walls as canvases. So what could you do with the 6 blank walls inside your box? Most people who are unhappy at work, they don't believe they can just bust out of the box they're in, so they just continue to plod along through life. They hate the fact that they're stuck, but changing jobs or burning bridges is not the only way to find success and peace of mind. It is possible to love the box that you're in. You just need to be more creative, more valuable, and more enthused about your work and the things that you have to do. That box you're in still has the potential to be a spaceship, the kind that can boldly take you where no one has ever gone before. But you have to prepare yourself for that launch. You have to take some action. What could you do with the 6 blank walls inside your box? Well, you can paint them with the things that are of interest to you, the things that are important to you, the things that you want to invest more of your time with. Most people who are unhappy at work, they just don't believe they can bust out of the box they're in. So they keep plodding along, hating their life, but thinking they're stuck. It's possible to love the box you're in. See, we're fanatical today about our freedom. The surest way to anger someone is to start saying, well, this might take away a little of your freedom. No, you can't take away my freedom, no. And we guard it. We say, I'm free to do whatever I want. And folks, you only have to look at the news or any newspaper to see the result of people thinking they can do whatever they want. I suggest that working within boundaries can actually be a very good thing. It motivates us to get creative, to see how we can do great things and still color inside the lines. There's a movie director named David Lynch. Now, David Lynch makes weird movies. They're disturbing. They're dark. They're mysterious. Many people do not like David Lynch's movies. They're hard to watch. And so it was quite shocking a couple decades ago when it was announced that David Lynch was going to be doing a TV show for one of the three major networks. How was this guy who was so iconoclastic, who was always pushing the boundaries and showing bizarre things, how could he fit into network TV and the strictures that were imposed upon TV shows? Well, it turned out he did it by creating a show called Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks became one of the most influential TV shows of the past 50 years. Its effects continue to be felt today, and I'm convinced the reason was because this guy who usually had no restrictions on him had to work inside the box. And what he made was so good, it will probably be the thing he is most remembered for, creating that TV show. Instead of thinking of the box that you're in as a prison, think, how can I work creatively within those cardboard walls? There's lots of possibilities. How can you fill up a box? Well, there's infinite answers to that. You can fill it with rocks or feathers. You could fill it with chocolates. Or you could fill it with batteries or books or clothes. Or don't be limited. You are more creative than you believe that you are. That childlike imagination is still buried under some layers of job concerns and taxes and family issues. It's still in there, just waiting for you to dust it off and wake it up and start exercising it again. Let that creativity run wild, and pretty soon you will hit on something that could be the game changer that you need in your life. You've probably seen these words on a cereal box. Contents may have settled. That's supposed to reassure us that the box had a full measure of cereal when it was packaged, but during transport and shelving and moving around and shopping, during all of those things, the contents may have shaken out some of the empty spaces so that when you open the box, it looks like it's only half filled. Well, what does this have to do with us inside our box? Well, if you're sitting there in your box, you may have settled too. You may have decided, I've only got 6 more years till I retire. I'm not going to rock the boat now. It'll all be over soon. Or you might think, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I planned, not what I dreamed for. But you know, it could be a lot worse. I'm lucky to have a job at all. Folks, that's settling. That's settling for something less than what is best for you. Less than the best that God has planned for you. The way things are is not the way things must stay forever. You can change the outside of your box from the inside. You have skills, you have ideas, you have ways you can contribute, even from inside your box. How could you spruce up the inside of that box? Well, if your box is the job that you feel stuck in, maybe you could be the person at work who remembers all the birthdays and plans parties, or the one who puts together an employee newsletter, not because it was assigned to you, but because you thought it would be a good thing to do. Or maybe you're the one who spots an inefficient system of operation and points it out and says, we could do better right here. Or you find a better source for a needed item. Maybe you see that moving some things around, even furniture, could improve efficiency. Maybe you're the one who discovers a source with lower prices and or better service. When you do things like that, you make things brighter and better inside your box. And you increase your value to your employer or your family or your church. Maybe you'll be commended for it. Maybe nobody will even notice. But either way, you will begin to see that everything can be improved. I mean, it took us 100 years to figure out how to make a soft t-shirt. I love my Mickey Mouse Disney World t-shirt. It's soft as a tissue that's gone through the washing machine. It weighs nothing. It's so, you don't even feel like you have it on when you're wearing it. I love that shirt. But until just a couple of years ago, you couldn't buy a soft t-shirt like that. They were all stiff, and even if you washed them a dozen times, they still were better, but not like they are now. If it took us 100 years to do that, don't be so impatient. Everything can be improved. Don't settle. Keep growing. Expand to fill the empty spaces that are in your box. You need to realize, all of us need to realize, God wants more for you than you even want for yourself. C.S. Lewis once said, "It would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. Like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he can't imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily planned." Do you catch? C.S. Lewis said, God wants to give you a holiday on the beach. And instead we say, no, I'm just making mud pies. That's what I know. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'm doing inside this box. Well, one reason we feel uncomfortable inside the box is because things are all topsy-turvy in there. The vital components are all scattered or broken, and nobody seems to know where'd the instruction manual go. What should always be topmost, what should always be up in our minds and daily tasks? Well, we're designed to keep this side up. We're designed to always be looking up for answers, for inspiration, for strength. And then this image represents something that's new to our current times. If you look on YouTube, you'll find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos of people doing this, opening boxes. What? It's hard to explain, but there are some very successful people who are making huge sums of money from nothing but videotaping themselves opening gifts or things they've ordered online or surprise packages. They unbox them for the camera and people comment on them and people respond and they get millions of views. Now, how does this apply to the box that you find yourself in? Well, in most cases, we do have the occasional visitor to our box. People at work or neighbors or family. What is their experience when they come into your world? How do they evaluate you when they see how you have customized your environment? It's not about luxury. At least it's not only about luxury. It's really about forethought. Who's going to come in here to my box? Why will they visit? What are they seeking? What will make them feel their time was well spent? What about this box? What about the box that I'm in right now? We continue to make improvements so that people will want to come here. Even during the time now when nobody can come here, we're still making improvements because we have faith that the day is going to come when we can throw open the front door again and say, come on in. And people will come in and go, wow, they got rid of those 50-year-old bathrooms. Yay. Wow, they fixed the lighting. Wow, they've worked with the sound. Wow, it feels nice and cool in here. Everything is working great. We continue to work on the inside of this box so that people will come from the outside and open it up and be enriched by what they find within. One of my favorite stories is by a movie director and writer named J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams started by creating a TV show called Alias, and then he made Lost, and then he was given responsibility for reviving the Star Wars or the Star Trek franchise. Star Trek movies were kind of dead in the water, and J.J. Abrams wrote a new one and directed it, and suddenly Star Trek was huge again at the box office. And then he got the gold ring. He was given the Star Wars franchise, and he made the third trilogy of Star Wars movies, and now Star Wars is everywhere. But J.J. Abrams did a TED Talk in which he addressed, where does such creativity come from? And he told the story of how when he was a kid, he wanted to be a magician. And he grew up in New York, and his grandfather would always take him to this magic shop called Tannen's Magic. And one time, his grandfather would usually buy him a magic trick. But one time he went into Tannen's Magic, and he saw a box sitting on the counter. And the box had a question mark on it. And it said, Tannen's Magic Mystery Box. And a sign by the box said there were $50 worth of magic tricks inside this box, and it was only 15 bucks. So his grandfather bought him the box. JJ took it home. He set it on his desk. He looked at it, and he decided right then, I'm never going to open this box. And in fact, when J.J. Abrams was doing this TED Talk, he pulled this box out from under the podium and set it on top of the lectern. He said, I've never opened it. Why? Because he said, I think this is the key to my creativity. Every movie, every TV show I create is a mystery box. He said, the great thing about this is, if I don't open this box, there could be anything inside there. There's infinite possibilities. But if I do open it, there's only one thing. Mystery's over. And when I heard that, I thought, that's great. That box could have anything in it. And I realized sometimes it's okay to not have all the answers. Sometimes it's better to have all the questions. All the questions will lead us to interesting places in our life. That box that you think is a cage is actually filled with uncountable treasure, amazing adventures, incredible success, and the secrets to a happy and fulfilling life. What's in a box? Well, it's like asking what color is a crayon. It's up to you. God makes every box filled with wonder. A box full of wonder is a pretty good place to be inside. Now, for 11 months, we've been stuck in boxes of another kind. We've been stuck at home. And I know some people have gone just about stir crazy. Some people seem to thrive, and I think the answer is they have learned to think inside the box that they are in. What have you done to make the place where you're stuck right now, the box that is your house or your apartment, what have you done to make it a place that's more fulfilling, that teaches you things, that challenges you, that offers you mysteries, that gives you playful things to do? There are plenty of things to do inside the box because God has filled each one with wonder. I can't wait to see what you discover or have discovered inside your box during this quarantine time. If you haven't found anything yet, it's not too late for you to start looking. There is something wonderful in every box. We just have to look for it. We have to wake up our imagination and seek. And God promises, if you seek, you will find. God bless you. I will see you Wednesday night, I hope, in our regular Zoom chat, or next Sunday morning here. We'll start our church conference in just about 4 or 5 minutes, and I hope you will join us on Zoom. God bless you. We'll see you next time.